welcome back to my channel. So grab yourselves a nice cozy drink. I have a cup of tea in my Dalmatian Be Happy mug, and let's take a sip. Today I'm going to be bringing you a little project that I did. So I made this year, I made my Mother's Day cards for my mum, in-laws and grandparents. And I'll go out to buy them. Some really pretty cards are so expensive for what they are, and I thought, you know what, I'm just going to have a go at making some myself. And they're a bit more individual and personalised, and more suiting to the person that you're giving them to. And I was really happy with how they turned out actually, so I thought I'd share them on here just to give you some idea or inspire you to make your own cards. Now, I know Mother's Day has been gone, and I was going to do it yesterday. Yesterday being Sunday, which was Mother's Day, I was going to post them, on the day or beforehand, but I just didn't get around to it. Timing is everything, isn't it? So I just thought I'll still share them because you can take that idea and use it for other occasions, other birthdays or anniversaries or any occasion really. And so to make the cards, I used some proper, what do you call it, thick paper that you get in a sketch pad, and I used acrylic paint and just paintbrushes that I have on hand. I don't even have expensive acrylic paint either, it's just these Colvin & Co ones that I picked up, I think, in Home Bargains. I actually do need to get some more because a lot of them are pretty empty. So I'll insert a wee clip of the 3 cards that I made, just so you can see the style of them, and then we'll come back here and I will show you how I went about creating those. So I hope you enjoy this video. Without further ado, here we go. Okay, so I just began by taking this little palette that I've got here and popping in an array of colours that I like the look of. I didn't actually know what design I was going to do at first. I knew I wanted to do florals, but I didn't have an idea of what kind. I just kind of went with the flow. So as you can see, I put all of my bright colours all around the sides that I liked. And I used a few different shades of green. You don't need a lot at this stage, just a tiny amount. Used a couple of shades of green. Let's do these. And I think I put a brown in there as well, yeah. Well, burnt sienna. Ooh. And then in the centre, I put white, which I do not appear to have here. Bear with, I will just run and get it. Hello, I'm back. So in the centre, I just popped some white acrylic paint. Not very much in there. Apologies. Right, so as you will have seen on my card designs, I took a circle format to paint around, and I literally just used a jar and placed it on my paper, faintly drew around it with a pencil, and then used that to paint upon. But I thought maybe I'll just begin by showing you how I painted some of the flowers. So choose a paintbrush. I am not an expert on paintbrushes, I just choose one which fits the colour that I need, the shade, the type of flower that I need. So just begin by mixing your paints. Now, what I like about acrylic paint is you can kind of like work with it and blend it. And it's nice if it dries a bit thicker in some parts because it makes your floral painting look more 3D. So I'm literally painting circles of petals overlapping one another. And then what you want to do is take a darker shade and swirl inside the flower and go around the outsides, if you can see what I've done there, to make it look more 3D, more flower-like. And then this is where you need to go in with another brush and pop in your leaves. So my leaves are really simple. I will simply just like use the shape of the brush to paint the, what am I trying to say? Like work with the shape of the brush to just paint a very delicate leaf shape, and then I'll go back in if I want to and make the edges a bit more rough or smooth them out. Go back in and make them a little pointier. So you have it there as one flower. And yeah, you can just do any design. I think I also, if I remember correctly, did ones with lots more petals, and this is where you could just let your imagination flow. It's really hard to explain what you did rather than just show somebody, and I am by no means an expert at all. I will just have a go. And the beauty of this as well is if you don't like what you've painted, you can kind of just paint over it and make it into something else. So I think now I'm going to go over those petals with a bit of lighter blue, and which then, and the white adds texture and the look of more layers of petals, if you get my meaning. And then in the centre I kind of just twirl the paintbrush around a little to give more detail and give the look of extra petals, like so. Yeah, so it's really quite simple, and obviously these cards went around really well. I must admit. Now I don't have a jar here, so I'm just going to use this here coaster to faintly draw around, because I've already painted those flowers rather close to one another, so we might as well make use of that. So there's a very dodgy circle. But as I say, you can even freehand this. It doesn't need to be neat or a perfect circle, because the flowers that you paint on will disguise that. So you can paint all manner. You can even do simple daisies, just eucalyptus leaves. Oh, I'll show you how I did my foliage in just a moment. Just finish this flower. I think I started, if I remember rightly, I painted a couple of flowers here and there like I have done on this one, spreading them out at different angles. And then I went in and popped in like different shades of greenery, different floral for the florals, like eucalyptus. So that is the design there. Could be some sort of lily. If you can see, I'll just in the centre of the flowers, and I think I might actually go in and do one more on the other side, and then do lots of greenery just to show you what I did. Let's make a purple. Now I've got a lot of paint on here, but that's what I want, and I'm just going to do lots of little like dots almost. But as you can see, if you can see, that is, they're not completely rounded, and they're different sizes, but that's what you want to create this shape of flower. And I will go in with some white and red to make a light pink, light purple, and go over the gaps with the different shades that I've created. And as you can see, a little bit of paint really does go a long way. You don't need a lot at all. I've had these tiny tubes of paint from Home Bargains for quite some time. Granted, they are now almost empty, but I have used them on lots of different projects. I can just go back in almost like stiffening your paintbrush. To get the desired effect that you want. Right, and then I will go in with this brush and mix my greens till I get the desired green that I want. Right, so let's start over here. I am going to do quick strokes underneath the flower, like so, and then move it down like this so it looks really rough. That's the right word. And then over here, I'm going to do leaves like this, just with the placement of the brush, and kind of turning it around itself. And with a thicker brush, go along the centre and pop in a stem. Right, now obviously if you're not happy with that, with the shape, you can go back in, like I am here, and make the leaves more rounded, more to the desired texture that you want, size and shape. Add more paint, darker paint, to add impact to the leaves. So yeah, it's just really a fun, relaxing way to spend some time. It's very therapeutic, I would say, doing this. And you know, you can paint flowers from your imagination. There are lots of examples on Pinterest of like templates you could follow. You could even print out a template of like black and white flowers on some, what's it called, like tracing paper. Tape it with masking tape to a normal sheet of printing paper, print it out on the tracing paper and paint onto that. And then like what's it called, Mod Podge it to your thick painting paper, and it will just look perfect like you've painted it directly on there. And then you've already got the design there. Don't need to worry about, like, if you're worried about your freehand. And there's lots of tutorials as well as to how to paint flowers, but as you can see, I am no expert, but I like to just give it a go. Paint whatever comes to my mind. Well, I could really spend hours doing this. See how if you play around with the light of the white or lighter colours and shades. They just like add a texture to the leaves and the flowers that you create, as does the acrylic paint itself. Because unlike with like watercolour, you don't want the acrylic paint to just dry like flat in this stage. I'm sure there's like a technical word for that. Any artists out there, let me know. But I like it when the paint dries like raised on the paper, if that makes sense, and it looks like a flower rather than just like 2D on the page. Not sure if I'm making sense to anybody, but if you can see what I'm doing, you get the idea. Or at least I hope you do. Well, you could literally paint the flower and then go along in like a systematic order of painting them side by side. But I personally really like to just paint one here and there and then do one opposite or on the other side and then leave a gap. And then it's nice to go back and fill in the gaps with like foliage or like leaves, grasses, smaller flowers. And you can build up the layers of your pattern as well, your flower pattern, as I am doing here. I honestly could spend hours doing this. It's very relaxing, especially after you've been running around all day after little ones on the school run or at work or whatever you do. It's very relaxing. Should we do a yellow one? Got like an orangey one there, maybe an off yellow one, maybe like a mustard yellow one. Let's see, kind of like, what are these flowers called? Is it like a pansy, where it has petals that look like a heart shape at the top and the sides almost, and then like a darker centre. Is that a pansy? I'm not sure. They're cute anyhow. You always see them in like little people's borders in their gardens or like in hanging baskets. They look like little hats, don't they? Like little bonnets. Please let me know if you know what I'm babbling on about. I'm going to have to look up what the names of flowers actually are. Should I do this again? Right, and then I'm going to go in the centre with a darker, oh gosh, dropsy today, with a darker colour and like copy the shape of the petals in the centre there. Like so. And I love the way the paint moves when it's quite painted quite thickly on the page, because you can manipulate it to fit the form of the flower that you are painting. Right, so did I get any black paint off? No, is this black? Yes, lamp black. Apply a tiny dot of this because I'm going to use some in the centre of this flower. In case you've noticed, I'm a very messy, creative person. I literally make so much mess when I'm doing something and then have to spend ages afterwards cleaning it up. Like so. Right, and I think I'm going to do another blue coloured one, I think, just to add some balance over here. Maybe tiny blue flowers, little circle motions for the petals. Literally applying my paintbrush so gently to the page. Right, and as you can see, all of the flowers aren't painted directly like onto the circle. They're kind of placed in and around it, and I've left a gap for foliage, leaves, and to make it look that much fuller. Just gonna add a bit more interest to this one over here. Over the back. Right, and now I had a little green brush on the go, didn't I? I'm going to go in and pop some leaves in and around, just using different brush strokes and different brushes to create different effects. So this brush here is quite stiff bristles, but I like the effect that that's given there. I'm going to use that again over here to create more leaves for this lily. And I just think I may go in very quickly and pop another lily in here as well. So let's see, I just need a tad more yellow, I think, to brighten it up a little bit. Let's find another tiny brush. A more organised person would probably wash their brushes in between. I, as you can see, do not. I will use a different brush for all of the flowers that I create and the different colours, which obviously means more washing afterwards. But that's just the way I've done it, and I always probably will. I'm not really sure where I was going with that flower, but I might come back to that one. Let's go in and add some more green. And mixing some of the green and the brown to give a darker shade. You see, also to add interest. Oh. Never mind. If, like me, you just drop your paintbrush in your picture, you can simply go over it with some more paint and nobody is to know. It can look like it was intentional, even if, as in my case, it wasn't. But there you go. Right, I could carry on, and I probably will, but there you have it. I'll just try and show you. Oh, gosh, a bit closer. What I have done so far. So if you enjoyed today's video of my painting, well, attempting to paint a flower wreath for cards or home decor, you could pop these in a little picture frame if you wanted to just decorate about your house. Please consider giving this video a thumbs up and hitting the subscribe button so you don't miss any of my future videos. And yeah, thanks for watching if you watched to the end.